Most of us have heard of Father Damien of Molokai, but not of Mother Marianne Cope. I was recently in Syracuse, New York, and since she's about to be canonized, I stopped by the Motherhouse of her congregation to learn more about her. I was met by Sister Grace Anne Dillenschneider, the vice postulator for the cause for canonization.
Hello, sisters.
Hello, and
Thanks for
welcome.
welcoming us.
Well, you are most welcome to come. We're very happy to have you join us here today.
Thank you. It's a beautiful chapel.
It is. This is the prayer space for our sisters who live here. In fact, it was built in the exact same spot that Mother Marianne built the very first chapel that was here.
Okay.
That chapel had to be was too small, so it was enlarged to this chapel that we now have. But we have the Blessed Sacrament here, and our sisters pray each day here.
How long has this chapel been
Since
here?
1950.
1950. And this over here is the relic or the shrine?
This is the shrine of Mother Marianne. We brought her home in 2004. We brought her home and placed her here in this shrine that we had designed for her.
Mm-hmm.
And the shrine itself is significant. It does hold her bones in the reliquary itself, but we tried to tell part of her story as we created the reliquary here.
It's beautiful.
Yes, we had a wood carver from Hawaii and a wood carver from Syracuse here contribute to this, and we tried to bring together her entire story, because we have wood from New York State, koa wood from Hawaii, on which is carved the image of the monument that was on her grave in Kalapapa. And around the reliquary, we have a carving of the plumeria plant, which was brought to Hawaii in 1860 by a German physician. So it brings together her entire heritage within the reliquary itself. Beside it, we have kahili, which are part of the ancient Hawaiian tradition. And the kahili is given to those who are most respected and most loved by the people of Hawaii. The kahili goes back to ancient Hawaiian times, and they are presented to those who are most revered within the congregation, those most respected and those most loved. It's a prayer. They each are made of feathers, and there are 20,000 feathers in the larger kahilis and 10 in the small kahili. They are black, gold, and red, depicting again her German heritage. That's the color of the German flag. They were brought here by the people of Hawaii, created by 86 of them in a community setting. Each feather became a prayer that they prayed as they were making this. The other thing that I just would like to show you, that as you come here to pray, some people like to pray holding this cross. This cross is made from the roots of one of the trees that was planted by Mother Marianne when she was there.
Oh, wow.
And it had grown down into the area of her grave, and the roots encircled the grave. And they encircled the casket, where the casket was and where her body was. So I like to think of it as, since Mother Marianne embraced the people of Hawaii and beautified the earth while she was there, as well as caring for their spiritual and bodily needs, that creation was embracing her in death, embracing her and protecting her as she lay in the grave.
Oh, beautiful. Now, when were the relics brought here, and why are they not still in Hawaii?
They were brought here in 2004. Her body had to be exhumed before she was beatified to prove that she was actually buried there, that these were her bones, so that if any relics were made, they would know that they were authentically part of Mother Marianne. We chose not to separate her bones. All the bones that we found, we did leave together here, and that was just a choice that we made, so we don't have pieces of her anyplace else. We brought her here because where she was buried in Kalapapa will eventually become a national park when the last person who had been a patient there dies or moves away permanently.
Right.
And because it would be a national park, we would lose control over what is happening to her and to her grave.
Right.
Although they would take very good care of it, we just wanted to be sure that she was back with us.
Yeah, makes sense.
So we talked with the people there, and they were very saddened to see her go, but they understood that she was going from one ohana to another ohana, which is family, from her family in Kalapapa to her family here in Syracuse.
Right.
So they reluctantly, but
Yeah.
did relinquish her remains to
Right.
us.
Now, we're in the Syracuse area. Did she grow up in this area?
She grew up in Utica. She
Utica.
was born in Germany. She immigrated here when she was 18 months old with her family, and they settled in the German section of Utica. She went to school there until 8th grade, and then she had to go to work to help support her family because her father took sick, and her mother had to care for her father, and someone had to earn money for the family, and she had younger brothers and sisters at home. So Mother Marianne, who was then Barbara Cope, did go to work in the mills of Utica, and she worked there from the time she left 8th grade until she was 24 years old. She met the sisters there in 1860 and then wanted desperately to become a sister of St. Francis, which she did 4 years later in 1864. In fact, she entered the community right down the street from us here.
Oh.
This area was not part of the Sisters of St. Francis at that time. She entered the community down at the Assumption Church of the Assumption
Parish is
Church.
where the friars are.
Yes, where the friars are. The friars had invited us here to Syracuse, which is why our sisters first came here.
Now, what can you tell me about the beautiful portrait that we see everywhere?
This really shows her when she was still here in Syracuse, and she was working here at St. Joseph's Hospital. She had taught here. She had been a principal here, and she became a leader of the community here. But that was when, right before she left for Hawaii, so that is how she looked when she was here, and that is how she looked when she went to Hawaii. She did not intend to stay in Hawaii when she left. She was going to come back here. She was just going to settle the sisters there. But as the Lord would have it, she remained there.
And she was there for 30 years?
She was there for from 1883 to 1918, 35 years actually.
Wow.
Yeah, she was a very determined woman, and she believed strongly in first respect for all. So whoever came to St. Joseph's Hospital, they were accepted, whether they were rich or poor, no matter who they were, what they did, what nationality they were. Everyone had to be treated equally. When she first saw the people and she embraced them with her life and with her love, one of the first things that she did was insist upon the hospital where she was sent to be cleaned, so that the people who were there would have a clean place to be. It was very difficult in Hawaii at that time because there was no one to care for the people because of the fear that existed of this terrible disease that the people had, the disease of leprosy. They knew no cure for it. They didn't know how it was transmitted. They didn't know how it progressed. All they knew was anyone who got it became disfigured and eventually died. They had a dead room where people who were going to die were just left to die without care at all because they had no one to do it. It sounds cruel, but you have to put it always in the context of history. Mother Marianne and the sisters went there to care for the women and girls, and they gathered them into their protection and provided a place of safety for them as well as a place where they were cared for. Mother Marianne looked at catalogs of dresses that were stylish for that day, and she and the sisters sewed dresses for the women and girls so that they would look exteriorly pretty and feel good about themselves, and put ribbons in their hair so that they looked pretty. So they would feel that the respect that they deserved as children of God was theirs, and that they could hold on to that and grasp that understanding. This is the first room in our museum. Mother Marianne's legacy in life really spanned 2 oceans.
Right.
And she was on both from Germany to the United States and then on to Hawaii, so crossing the two oceans. And her life had an impact and an effect on each place where she was, except for Germany where she was born. That was, she left there at 18 months. But her life here was important in terms of what she contributed to the culture of healthcare and education, and to the sisters themselves here. And then in Hawaii itself, where she worked with the people who had that disease, known as leprosy then, but as Hansen's disease now, and the care that she gave to them. All the time were those values that she held dear, the respect for each one, the understanding that we are all children of God, and therefore we are equal in God's eyes, and therefore we need to be equal in the eyes of others. So all people were accepted and loved and dealt with compassionately. There was one gentleman that many people know from literature, Robert Louis Stevenson, who was a great friend of Saint Damien, who worked in Hawaii, in Kalapapa at the same time as Mother Marianne. He came and visited quite a few times, I believe, but he brought to the girls a piano to bring music into their lives and a croquet set, and he taught them how to play croquet. And he admired the work of the sisters. And one day when he was leaving on the ship, one of the last times he came to the island of Molokai, he saw the sisters standing on the shore. And as he stood there and looked at them, he wrote this poem. And this is the original poem that Robert Louis Stevenson wrote, honoring the sisters and their work with the women and girls in Kalapapa. This is a copy of it, because it's very difficult to read that. But that's a copy of the poem that he wrote as he waved goodbye, and the sisters waved goodbye to him as he left their shores there.
Beautiful.
It is. It's a very beautiful poem. I just would like to show you this pillow, which has significance for Mother Marianne and for the people that Mother Marianne cared for, the young women and the children. That was the key to Kapi'olani Home, which was a home that was created for the care of the women and the young children who did not have leprosy, but who were children of those who had leprosy. And they were separated at birth from their parents and needed someone to care for them until they could get them to a place where either a relative would take them or someone else would take them. So Queen Kapi'olani presented Mother Marianne with a key to that home on this very pillow that we have in here, as a sign of her wanting her people cared for in a respectful and sacred way. You know, you think of our modern age of technology and all that goes on to our desks in our day now. This is the desk that Mother Marianne had in Hawaii, and from here she ran the entire community that was in Hawaii. Everything that she did, both in Kalapapa, in Honolulu, and then when we started the hospital in Maui, she did from this one little desk. Saint Damien and Saint Marianne both worked on the island of Molokai at the same time. They both had that same passion for the care of the people. They both had that same deep spirituality. And they both had great faith in God and love and reverence for the people. They had very different personalities, but you know, that's what made them so unique, and how they complemented one another in the work that they did among the people on the island of Molokai, both in Kalapapa, where Mother Marianne was, and in Kalawao, where Damien was. And because of the fact that they were both there they knew each other, but they were both there on the island for 9 months together before Saint Damien died of having contracted leprosy. If you recall, Mother Marianne had said to the sisters, they will never contract leprosy. If they do, as she asked them to do, and to this day none have. But Saint Damien did contract leprosy and died from complications from that. But we have here his chasuble and his cane. And we have his medical book here, as well as some other artifacts from St. Damien. Yeah, this cabinet holds relics of Mother Marianne. They're things that she actually possessed and used. One of the ones that I find most beautiful and that touches my heart most deeply is this prayer book that Mother Marianne would have used to pray with each day. And this is one that we have been able to preserve and keep.
So this belonged to her.
This actually belonged to her. She actually used it in her prayer each day. As you can see, it's very well worn.
Yes.
Mother Marianne's faith led her always to believe that she had to respond to the call of God no matter where it was. When Mother Marianne went to Hawaii, which was then the Sandwich Islands, she had no idea what she would find there or how it would be for her, her and the sisters there. So it was actually going to what was then for her and the sisters a mission country. She went cheerfully. She went with gratitude to God for the call that he had given to her. She and the sisters went to do whatever it was that God called them to at that time in her life. We all have a mission in life, and Mother Marianne showed us how to respond to our call to that mission. And so I think having her be at her canonization on the day that we celebrate mission, then I think that's very appropriate. There's a variety of causes and a variety of people that are associated with the new leprosy, so to speak. Mother Marianne has been an example for the Right to Life people because she went and she worked with people who were outcast, who were doomed, for whom there was no care. So our modern day outcasts of society are not people who have leprosy. Her title will be Beloved Mother of Outcasts, because Mother Marianne went to those who were the outcasts of society, and she welcomed them, and she embraced them.
May Mother Marianne continue to be an inspiration not only to all Franciscan sisters who continue her work today, but to all Christians who have said yes to the call to serve the poor and to those who are marginalized, and to bring the good news to the ends of the earth. Saint Marinanne Cope, pray for us.